Today I wanted to talk about the dangers of diffusion. So in our last video we talked about how the best, fastest, most effective way to get essential oils into your body is through inhalation. And diffusion is a beautiful way to get those essential oils into the air so that you can breathe them. There are several different types of diffusers on the market. There are active diffusers like this one. There are passive diffusers that you can wear like around your neck. I have a great one that you can put onto a light bulb so you can add the heat. But there are some dangers, so you want to be careful even when you're diffusing, right? Essential oils that are in the bottle are very, very concentrated, okay? So it's not like leaning over and sniffing a rose. The rose that's in the bottle is very, very concentrated, so you don't need a whole lot. But before we can talk about diffusing safely, we need to talk about our olfactory senses. So our noses, right? And how our noses work. I'm sure the majority of us have walked into a house that has smelled not pleasant, so to say. Maybe a smell of a litter box or cigarette smoke, or have you ever maybe been somewhere, the door opens and you can smell the person before you see them? Right? And in our minds we're thinking, how do they not know that it smells bad or it's overpowering or whatever the case may be? So there's a thing called anosmia, and that just means you can't smell, okay? I have a friend who's a firefighter, and he went into a fire and his breathing apparatus didn't work properly and it destroyed his sense of smell. He can smell nothing. But there's also anosmia where, like, my mom, let me talk about my mom for a second. She wore a wonderful perfume her whole life. Like, this was her scent. The scent she wore all the time. But because she wore it all the time, she couldn't smell it anymore. So she kept adding more and more and more and more, and it was overpowering to everyone else, but because she couldn't smell it, she just kept putting more on. So anosmia, right? You can't smell it anymore. Your body says, oh, that's a smell I don't need to concern myself with, right? So because our smell is a beautiful thing that God gave us, right? You can wake up in the middle of the night smelling smoke. You can tell if your feet are really gross because they smell bad. Opening up your refrigerator, and this happened to me last night, opening up the cottage cheese, and no, I'm not going to eat that, right? Because of our smell. So smell is really important, but we can turn off our sense of smell if we use one scent too much, okay? So I had a friend who was telling me about her diffuser. She just kept adding drops because she couldn't smell it anymore. And even if it's just something that you want to smell, not necessarily a therapeutic quality that you're looking for, change up the scent that you're putting into your diffuser, because by adding more drops, you're adding more chemical constituents. They have to get into your nose, in through your bloodstream, process through your organs, and then eliminate. So if you're putting way too much in, you're going to end up doing harm to your body. Okay? So when I'm diffusing, regardless of whether or not I can smell it, I put my water in, and then I add no more than 4 drops, especially in a small container like this. And this is going to run for about 4 hours. So those 4 drops are going to diffuse into the air for 4 hours. If you have a larger diffuser, you can add a couple more drops because it's going to add more time to your diffusing. But you don't want to overdo it with these, all right? Even in your passive diffusers, you only want to put a couple of drops. You don't need to put a ton of stuff. Oh, and I can tell you, when I wear this, initially, of course, I can smell it, but then it wears off. Really, what's happened is, my nose says, I don't need to smell that anymore, so it shuts it off, right? But if I pick it up and bring it up and smell it close, it reactivates that olfactory sense. So, just a couple of drops. Same thing with this diffuser. Even though it has a very large well, you don't need to put a ton of essential oils in there. 3 or 4 drops is all you need, and it's going to fill the air with a beautiful scent for a while. I do have a comprehensive guide to diffusing, and if you visit the link below, you can sign up to receive that guide. And it goes into a lot more detail than what I've gone into here, because today we just wanted to talk about the dangers, right? So just remember, if you're overusing your essential oils, you can cause harm to your body. And if you have pets or children in the house, you need to be even more careful because their systems are so much more delicate than ours. You can really cause a lot of harm if you're over diffusing. One of the things I did want to talk about is people who diffuse all the time. I have heard about people who just have their diffusers going all the time. That's really going to overtax your system, and eventually it could even cause toxicity in your body. And again, if you have kids or pets, even worse for them. So you want to make sure that you're diffusing safely. Remember, just 3 to 4 drops in the active diffuser, 1 to 2 in your passive diffusers. And remember, even if you can't smell it, it's still working. All right, I hope you have a great day. I do want you to know that this is by no means a comprehensive course on dangers. Just some basic information to hopefully wet your whistle and get you excited about using essential oils safely.